I'm opening my fizz just to get ready, just to get a head start.
I've got 2 kids. What do you think?
I've got 3 kids.
Have you not drunk it already?
No, it's
What's been stopping you? The kids, right?
That was a frisky bottle of Cremant. Just remembered I carried that home in my rucksack on Friday night on the bike. Seems to have been a little frothy.
Well, if everyone else has got on it.
Yeah.
Just to get ready, just to save time.
Well, I mean, the trouble with you delivering wine to people in the trade is that you did it yesterday for me, and it was quite a nice day yesterday, wasn't it?
As long as you've got some dregs left in the.
I've got a little bit left now. I don't normally like Portuguese wine, especially Vinho Verde. I can't stand Vinho Verde, but I didn't mind that. It was quite Chardonnay.
It's a bit richer than your average Vinho Verde, yeah.
I've only got a little one.
I've only got a little one left.
Hi, Audrey. How you doing?
Hi, pleased to meet you. Are we on the white one?
Oh, we haven't really started yet. We're just
Right, I'm talking about it. Yeah. Okay.
Just cracking on.
Opening and sniffing.
Well, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Simon was just saying he's got a small one.
Dangerous thing to say on the internet, I suppose, isn't it? But... Cheers. Happy Saturday.
Happy day ending in Y.
The wife got me some Rydell's for my Christmas. So I got 2 Chardonnay ones. This is the first time I've trusted myself to actually use it. Because I used to have Rydell's 25, 30 years ago, and they only last about a week.
I couldn't have those because we have a Belfast sink, so no, it's too dangerous.
And does the wine taste better in a Rydell glass then?
I'm not sure. It's actually showing the alcohol a bit more than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know why that would be.
No.
I mean, it's a Chardonnay Viognier Rydell, so, and it is a Chardonnay. So.
Hi to Amanda. Hello.
Hi.
Props for being in an actual restaurant by the looks of it.
Well, I technically am still working, but I've cracked open anyway. So.
Are you doing some collections today?
Yeah, so they're supposed to be finished at 6, but we've still got a few to collect. So I'm using that as an excuse that they're late, so I should just start.
Quite right. Hi, Rowan. How you doing?
Hi, how you doing?
Thanks
Hi, Rowan.
for joining.
Pardon?
Thanks for joining.
All right, yeah. I'm ready. I've got all my wine and my glasses set up.
Me too. No spittoon though. That's highly irregular for professionals like ourselves.
It's probably one of the good things about having to do all these things over Zoom is that no one has to drive.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect, and you're immediately home at the end of the tasting. It's absolutely
Very true.
perfect.
It's whether you get out the kitchen though, that's the problem.
What should we do, Richard? Should we sort of crack on, or are we wait for?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Hi everyone, Richard from Great Grog here. We've got John on my screen, Great Grog, and Simon the other way. Angus is down the bottom, and Claire, I think, was there. You go, just appearing as we speak of the devil.
Hey.
Hi, sorry, I've been having camera problems. I'm here. Hi.
So Claire as well. So we're all here. Any questions or whatever, you have 5 super experts allegedly on the subject. So we should all have a Cremant de Limoux, which is the blue stuff. So we'll start with that. Salazar, and then we should have the Pé Branco, which is from Esparao in Portugal, and then if I can reach Chacabuco Malbec from Mendoza in Argentina. So just, and we spent all of about 3 minutes deciding on these wines. lots of thought involved.
I said I'd give Pedro 15 minutes notice to jump in, so
Okay.
just let me know when you want, like, shall I say, tell him 20 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you can jump in 20 minutes.
And then I said I gave Lee 5 minutes notice as well.
Yeah, we'll
Sorry
be
to
done.
jump in.
Definitely done the Lemu in 15, 20 minutes. So, where was I? So Chacabuco Malbec last. The choices are, because the Salazar is such fantastic value as an alternative to champagne. Older sparkling wines have been made in Lemu. They've been making them for centuries and centuries. So they've been making fizzy wines down there long before champagne came around. And Salazar itself was established in 1890. So they've been around a while, just this one producer. So, hi, Jonathan. I was just
Hello,
doing
sorry we're late.
Hi. Have you got
Right,
some
yeah.
of this pour, Jonathan?
Yes, it's on its way.
You're brave sitting outside. I was sitting outside doing a tasting last night, and it got mighty
Totally
Baltic.
go for it.
So I could see my breath by the end of it.
Yeah,
That was
might
just
have
the
to move
alcohol,
in.
Richard.
Pretty nippy. So where was I? So Salazar itself was established in 1890. I'll just do a little bit of chat, and then, if I may, I'll hand over to John, because John did the Lemu tasting we did last month. So you've done mega research on it. So just
I've
fill in the gaps.
I've forgotten most of it.
Well, it'll all be there, kind of. It'll all come flooding back. So just some stuff. Price, £8.36 ex VAT. So not too bad a shabbier price. It's kind of a decent alternative to Prosecco, and much finer, I think is the way I'd describe it. The Crémant Lemu was established in 1990, so 30 years ago. Blanquette has been around since 1938, Blanquette de Lemu, which is made from slightly different grapes. So this is majority Chardonnay. So Crémant Lemu is majority Chardonnay, 90% Chardonnay in this one, and 10% split between Chenin and Pinot Noir. So it's a kind of Blanc de Blanc-ish champagne style. And yeah, that's what they're trying to do. It's from southwest France. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I will show you where, if I may, what I'll do.
Taking pictures in my garden.
I don't want to do that.
My garden.
Do not want to do that. Okay, that is actually where it is made. So Maison Salazar. And I will zoom back out. So these are all the vineyards all the way around. And you'll notice it's actually the foothills of the Pyrenees is where it's from. So as I zoom out, you will see the Pyrenees running along here. That is the border. So Perpignan is the kind of big town. Béziers, that's Picpoul de Pinet is around here. There's Montpellier, which is where the main viticulture schools in France are. Toulouse, as an Airbus. There's Andorra skiing. That is the border running along here. So it's right down in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, the thing about that kind of climatically, you have, for instance, Picpoul de Pinet along here gets a lot of Mediterranean onshore breezes, and that's why they have a relatively cool vineyard to be slightly further inland. And the thing about Salazar, you actually weirdly get an Atlantic Bay of Biscay influence coming along the side of the Pyrenees. So you get prevailing winds coming this way as well. Because although it seems quite a way away from the Atlantic, it's actually has an Atlantic influence. And because it's in the foothills of the Pyrenees, it's a little bit cooler. And cooler is good in the south of France because otherwise it's too warm for making sparkling wines. Therefore, the acidity goes up. So you must retain acidity to make sparkling wines. So that is where it's from. Champagne method, it's full champagne method. So that is second fermentation in the bottle. And it's light, it's crisp, it's fresh, zesty, good acidity, which is kind of tied into the climate thing, which I was talking about, foothills of the Pyrenees, a little bit higher, a little bit cooler, a little bit wetter. You know, there's different regions in the Languedoc climatically. And this is in one of the cooler areas. What do you think?
Always a favourite.
Anyone?
It's a star favourite, yeah. We all love it. Because yeah.
It's kind of broad and creamy and quite bold, isn't it? Quite lush.
You can tell it's both the Picpoul. Like it's definitely got like got that, like you say, creamy sort of minerally stuff to it.
It's got a lovely little bready note to it as well. You can tell that it's got that champagne method in there. I think it's also, if people are fed up of Prosecco, but they find champagne a bit much, this is always a really good in-between wine, especially price-wise. It's a really good way of, it's like a gateway drug to champagne.
The bready note in this is a little bit like more like choux pastry. It's quite delicate. Sometimes champagne's really strongly brioche style. It can be quite strong yeasty flavors, whereas this one tends to be a little bit more toned down on that side. But you still get that fullness of the Chardonnay coming through in this. And like Claire says, if you don't want Prosecco, if you're finding Prosecco a little bit too sweet or something.
A wee bit of citrusy to it. Not major, but it's there.
Cynthia would like to know how much this is.
Yes, please.
£8.36 ex-VAT.
Expert.
At retails, if you were to buy it in the shop, it'd be £11.15.
£11.15.
Yeah.
That's all right.
But that's before your staff discount.
Yeah, aye.
That's before your staff discount. There you go. Good sales pitch.
I'm sure we can get a pallet discount as well if
I must say, I've got some very tasty snacks, and we started selling these smoked almonds, and I'm having it with that, and it is yum with it. Absolutely.
I've got the big fat olives. The Gordon olive. Bloody marvellous.
Can I say though, if you do Google this, generally it's about 12, 13 plus pounds. Sales in the States are about $20. So, you know, it's sitting at about retail about 13, 15 thereabouts. So 8.36 ex-VAT is pretty good value stuff. You know, it sits in amongst, you know, mid-priced Proseccos, not premium Proseccos, but equally not the cheapest, but it's the alternative. The Prosecco bubble has popped a little bit. You know, it's definitely, you know, I'm not saying Prosecco's dead, and it's definitely not had its day, absolutely not, but people are asking what the next thing is, and I think people will go back to Cremants, because these have been around for a while. You know, good quality, well established, good market there.
There's a whiskey I can drink that.
I think the key is if they're doing traditional method, that's just for that price, that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, not everybody knows Cremant, so you still get that opportunity to explain it a little bit, which is always quite good. You're starting to engage with the customer a little bit more. So that's got that point to it too.
And Cremant de Limoux actually predates Champagne by about 50 years. That's always a good thing to tell people.
Cremant was first recorded in 1544 as wine with bubbles. So they take that as when sparkling wine was defined, at least anyway. And that's the first place in the world that was ever talked about or archived. Proof of sparkling wine has been found. So head of Cava, head of Champagne, head of everywhere else.
I don't know.
Yeah, what does everybody think? Do you like it?
Yeah. Questions, comments?
We've been using Cremant as our sort of house sparkling for many years now, and it's such an easy sell, and value for money wise, especially, is fantastic. It's really delicious.
Which Cremant do you use then, Amanda?
We've got a Blanc de Blanc, which we're using Henri Delarange for quite a while, and then that sort of became quite hard to find. But the one that we're using currently, I think, is about £6 more expensive than this one, and they're all quite similar qualities.
Which Cremant is that? Cremant de Bourgogne or Cremant de Loire?
Cremant de Bourgogne.
Yeah,
is what we're using currently.
They're always going to be a little bit more expensive because they're just
so limited
volume there.
Yeah.
But they're all made in the south. They're all made around Mâcon, and most of them are the co-op. So it's it's in the big production area just next to Beaujolais. So down in the Mâcon is where they make most of the crumble. There's hardly any made anywhere else. So it's all in the big production area. But this is hand picked, hand harvested, champagne method. It's I think it's.
Do you know the exact grape blend? Did you mention that, Richard?
Yeah. 90%.
90 Chardonnay, but they then don't exactly declare how much Pinot Noir and Chenin go into it, but it's maximum 10%. So
anything, so I don't know if you know, but if anything, you can call a grape a single varietal if it's 85% of that wine is made from that grape. So you can have 15% of other grapes and you don't have to declare it. You can call it a Chardonnay or a Sauvignon or whatever. So it's sometimes quite hard to find those other bits that are in there.
The Blanquette de Limoux, which is the really old wine from the area, is made from Mauzac, Mauzac. And this can have some Mauzac in it, but they declare that it's not got any in it, but whether you believe the French or not. Slightly, it's supposed to be 90% Chardonnay anyway, and it comes across as Chardonnay to me.
It's got that crispness, real and a little bit of lemoniness to it.
Yeah.
We might have a switcher. Does anyone mind if we do the red first before the white? Has anyone got objections to that? It's just that Lee can pop in 5 minutes. He's actually hosting a barbecue tonight. He kind of not quite forgot, but yeah. So he is going to pop on and tell us all about the Chacabuco Malbec. Unless you want me to ask him to hold off, Richard.
No, go for it. Go for it.
So he'll be here in 4 minutes.
So if we jump to the Chacabuco,
maybe need to get another glass because we're going to do the red first and then the white. It's pretty chugging red, so it shouldn't be a problem.
So Chacabuco Malbec is from Mendoza. I'll just introduce it and give the price. So that is £6.81 ex-VAT, which is absolutely genius stuff. Few things. Well, I'll show just before Lee jumps in where it's from. If I do the screen share, there we go. Jump out of France, rock around the planet. So that is where it's from in Argentina, Bodegas Los Giraldas. And I mean, it's a pretty desolate, irrigated area. It never rains because it's in the rain shadow of the Andes. So all of these green fields around are vineyards, and they are all irrigated from either artesian wells or directly off the Andes, which are there. So as I go back, you will see. So the Andes run north-south, Chile on this side, Argentina on the other. That is where they're from. So the key thing is the fact that it's in the rain shadow of the Andes. And it's relatively far north, i.e. near the equator in winemaking terms. So you've got your Uruguay here. You've got, I mean, really this is too warm across here, But the reason it's a decent temperature for making decent wine is altitude. So it's all at about 1,000 meters up. So it is high altitude Malbec.
So the reason we're jumping to the red is Lee, who owns Condor Wines, who is an importer that specializes in South American wines, is going to pop on the call and tell us, because he knows more about the wine than anyone. He's the one that imports it. So he's got his wife's from Argentina, and his background is in booze. His family were in, I think his dad was in importing, wasn't he? So it's kind of his business. And I think he spent a bit of time in Argentina at university, and he met his wife there, and that's where he decided to focus on wines just from South America. So that's all that they do. And we import quite a lot of their wines, our South American wines, from them, from Argentina, Chile, and quite a bit from Uruguay as well, which is really good. And I did a brilliant tasting actually with a guy called Pablo Falabrino, who owns a winery in Uruguay, who they've just changed the name to Pablo Falabrino Wines, but he makes some really interesting stuff, including a single varietal Nebbiolo, which is delicious, and a Chardonnay. What's the Estival blend? Remind me. Chardonnay.
Gewürztraminer Moscato.
Moscato, but the Chardonnay is picked super, super early, like you would for champagne, and then the Moscato is picked really late. Sorry, apologies, my wandering dog.
Is that a dog or a kid?
It's a dog, yeah.
Oh.
The kid's out skateboarding.
Need to get the dog skateboard.
It's not that hairy.
After your charcuterie.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Oh.
Right, I'm gonna text Lee so he is.
So this is allegedly, and I'm quoting on this, 75% stainless steel fermented. All of the grapes are destemmed, so no stalks go in. So just the grapes, pips, flesh, skin go into the tank. It's then 75% is stainless steel matured. I should have said that. So it's all stainless steel fermented. Then post fermentation, they decant 25% out, and they put that into American oak barrels for 6 months. So, and they don't say how old the barrels are. So I'm hedging that they're not brand new necessarily.
Oh, hang on. Pedro's in early, so we might have to switch back. Sorry for the confusion, everyone. I don't know where Lee is. He told me he'd be here in like 2 minutes. So I'm going to go grab my Pey Branco. It's in the fridge.
Yeah,
So,
so
advice to never mix your drinks. Here we go, mixing.
we're going to go with a rosé now. Hello, Pedro.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Hi, Claire.
How are you?
Very well. How are you?
Good, good, yeah. We don't want to take up too much of your Saturday night, so.
No, it's fine. I'm happy to be here.
We have a few here tonight, and then we have quite a few more that are going to catch up. So on the recording, we're going to send it out to some of our other trade customers.
Okay.
So please.
I want to go back to the Esparao Pey Branco.
Does
Sorry
Pedro
about
need
that, guys.
introduction? Pedro probably does need. Does he need no introduction?
Probably not. He's a bit of a legend.
Pedro needs
Wow.
no introduction.
I think I need an introduction. Come on, Claire. You're too kind.
So Pedro is, he's, I don't know exactly what your job title is, but you're head of exporting, basically. And he knows
Well,
a lot
I'm-
about wine.
Well, I'm responsible for not for the entire export, but I have some responsibility with North American, North America, so Canada, US, and I'm also responsible for United Kingdom, Holland, and what else? And that's pretty much it.
If you're lucky enough to ever visit Esparao, we've taken quite a few of our trade customers on trips there. It is a phenomenal trip. I'd highly recommend it. Yeah. So
What I'll do is I'll show you where it is.
Okay.
We go
While he's
to-
doing that, we sell quite a lot of Esparao wines from this, which is the entry level right up to their kind of higher end wines, and at every single level, they always really deliver on price point.
So this is the estate winery at the back. Fantastic lake next to it, all the vineyards around, quite a lot of kind of rough terrain, kind of undeveloped. It's kind of left to be like that, though.
Only 1/3 of the property is actually developed. 2/3 we kept it wild. So we're trying to preserve the wildlife that surrounds it. We try to create this balance. So the property is roughly 2,000 hectares, and only around 600 hectares is being developed with vineyards, but also with construction with the winery, the wine tourism, the restaurant. And so there's obviously a huge link and a huge consideration to the environment. We are obviously very sustainable within the sustainable aspect of things. Of course, organic production is something that we're very conscious about, and we've been practicing it for a while. We are now 100% certified in the property that Richard just showed you. So every single wine produced after 2019 at the property will have a certification on the back label. So we started with the wines, which are the Colheita wines that are now certified since 2015. But as of 19, since the property is completely certified, even our reserve wines will also have that certification. But I guess we're here to talk about Pé Branco, which is a different reality. Pé Branco, we buy grapes, so this wine is not organic because they're not grapes that we grow. It's from local farmers that we have long-term contracts. So we've been working with farmers around the Alentejo and around the country that we've established great relationships. Most of them, it's actually our team that works year-round in the vineyard, that does pruning, training, preserves the land. So we know exactly what we're receiving at the winery. So we know these grapes well, we know the vines very well. And this happens with wines like the Pé range, also a little bit with the Montevelho, which is a step up. And so this is quite important for us because, you know, with the scale that we have achieved, it would be impossible for us to make wines like this with our own fruit. So we keep our own fruit for our high-end wines and reserve wines, private selection, single varietals, and those are wines that we use from the vineyards. But Pé Branco, like I said, Pé Branco and also the Pé Tinto, these are farmers that are well known, are producing great grapes. And here what we do is we try to assemble the best possible varietals from the region. I believe the label might mention three grapes, Antão Vaz, Perrum, and Arinto, but this is just a small example of what the blend is composed. I believe that these grapes will account roughly 65–70% of the blend, but then we have 30% of many other grapes that are grown all over the region of Alentejo. The main goal for Pé is truly to make a wine that's quite light, easygoing, refreshing, lemony, zesty, and this is mostly these characteristics that I'm mentioning. The fresh components, these zesty, limey notes come mostly from the Arinto grape. Arinto grape can be, in certain ways, compared to maybe Sauvignon Blanc, which is probably a grape that you're more familiar. It's not exactly the same, but there are some similar characteristics. It goes in that direction, in the zestiness, the limey, citrusy, refreshing notes. And then you have Antão Vaz, and Antão Vaz is a grape that if you want an easy comparison, maybe you can go towards Chardonnay, which is a grape that has more volume, more intensity, more mouthfeel. So basically brings a little bit more structure into the wine. So you get the balance mostly of these two grapes, the zestiness and the crispiness of Arinto, but then the full body notes of the Antão Vaz. And then you have everything else, you know, not only the Perrum that's mentioned, but many other grapes, like even Verdelho will be in here, which is quite a popular varietal that's also quite similar to Arinto. But you know, ultimately this is a wine for every day. This is wine that's great for when the hot weather will come. In the patio, I think this is a no-brainer, really refreshing. I'm not sure if you're drinking the 19 or the 20.
19.
We are just on the 19. We're about to go on to the 20.
Okay, so no problem with that. 19 is drinking quite well. When the 20 comes along, it's coming, you know, if it comes in a month, perfect.
No, we have it already.
So you already have it, even better, even better. So yeah, so, you know, easy in terms of pairings, I would say the obvious, and I imagine being at the beach in Portugal and having some shrimp and having some Pé White, I wouldn't complain too much. I think that's the best idea, but I think you can go creative, some grilled fish, some seafood risotto maybe would be interesting, but I would keep it with light things. It doesn't have too much structure or complexity that you can go crazy and pair it with, complex food. I think it's more of a simple wine with simple food. Oysters, for instance, I think would be quite interesting. So I would keep it simple, but, drink it with whatever you like. And if you enjoy it, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Last time I had it with roast chicken.
Oh, okay.
The roast dinner, and it was great.
It was fine.
Once it gets to about 6 months to 9 months of age, it gets a bit of ripeness and a bit of kind of fullness almost.
Yeah, it might lose that crispy edge and that zesty note, and I can see that happening. Yep.
Richard, what is the price on this? If I'm right, there's 524 ex-VAT. Am I imagining that?
510.
510 ex-VAT.
Yeah.
So it's super
currently
easy
would
to put
be
on by the glass.
It currently would be slightly more expensive, but we've got
too cheap,
more
Richard.
coming in.
I'm going to increase the price. Sorry.
Too cheap.
Too cheap.
But yeah, as a kind of house wine or one up from house wine, it's absolutely brilliant. And because you can sell it at that price, people are more willing to try it because they maybe don't know the grape varieties. But that doesn't matter if it's that price. And then when they try it, though, generally people are always amazed by the quality level.
Pedro, quick question. Apparently, pay means foot.
Correct. Foot of the vine.
Oh, foot of the vine.
Yes.
If you put Pay Branco into a search engine on internet, you get a lot of very pale
white foot.
Coming up,
pale white feet.
Yeah, just white feet. You go, really?
Like Scottish feet, you mean, as opposed to Portuguese feet?
Yeah.
Probably. No, the idea behind it was just to associate it to the vine. So we just decided that it would be foot of the vine for some reason. And that's how it, the wine was actually made specifically. It was one of our first joint ventures because we hardly do any tailor-made wines. And this is one exception. We made it for a supermarket in Poland, if you can imagine. But it was so successful that then we started to export to other countries, and it started to do quite well. So we decided to.
We started it because Richard was at Eschborough at the winery and saw these pallets of Pay in the corner and went, "What's that?
What's that?"
What's that? And so
we should have. Well, I guess it was a good thing.
They went, hang on a minute. So we started doing it after that. So had he not been in the winery and had he not seen the pallet of Pay,
yeah, you would be drinking a Landra.
My comment was, what's that pile of stuff in the corner? Oh, that's for the Polish. I said, well, whatever the Polish drink, the Scots will drink. There's so many Poles here anyway. But that's surely got to work with the Scots.
And we sell pallets of it, so you're totally vindicated. Right, Pedro, we're going to let you go. So thank you so much for popping in on a Saturday night.
I have time. No worries. Soon. Don't kick me off like that.
Stay. What the hell?
Well, you can stay, but you can't try the red. And we now have Lee who's going to chat us through the red. So.
Perfect. Drink red wine.
Brilliant.
Perfect,
all right,
guys.
thanks so much.
It's a pleasure.
I really appreciate
nice seeing you all. Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to hand over to Lee now. Hi, Lee.
Good afternoon.
How are you? I'm so sorry to interrupt your barbecue. I feel terrible.
I've got it in my diary, but of course, I wouldn't normally check it on a Saturday. I just totally lost track. So we had friends round from 3:30. So we've been drinking, obviously, wine. Yeah, I mean, it was beer, but I'm now on the wine. So, we've had a bit of a barbecue because the weather's lovely out there today, isn't it? So,
and Lee just sent me a photo of the most impressive barbecue setup I have ever seen in the UK. Is it like a proper Argentinian? What do you call it?
It's called a parrilla.
Parrilla.
So there's a company we know that imports Argentine barbecues. And the Argentinians take barbecuing very seriously, and I had one installed a couple of weeks ago. I've wanted one for a while. My wife eventually conceded, and we had it installed a couple of weeks ago. So I think this is about the third barbecue so far.
I'm surprised you haven't been on it every day, actually.
Yeah, it's good. It's charcoal or wood or whatever you want to use, and it has a nice grill that goes up and down, which is very useful. And the grills are really cool because they're V-shaped, so the fat runs down the V into a fat tray. So it does really good job of meat, really good. So
sounds good. Right, I don't want to keep you because you've got guests. So Richard already did a little bit of chat about where Los Geraldos is, but I'll pass over to you.
Wow, so Condor Wines is a South American specialist importer set up by myself and my wife. We both worked in the industry, so I worked in hospitality previously as a assistant F&B manager, restaurant manager, food and beverage manager, and I met my wife whilst working for Intercontinental Hotels, and she's from Argentina, so we started traveling to Argentina, and I would say in the year 2000, 2001, something like that, you started to see Malbec creep into menus even then. And we thought that, you know, after a bit of time, I went to work for a brewer. So I was carried on working in the drinks industry. We could see that particularly Argentinian Malbec was doing well. So we set up the business in 2011. And this year we celebrate 10 years, which I can't believe how quick that's gone. And it's still myself and my wife. We have a couple of people that work for us as well now. But it's still very much an independent family-owned business. And Richard will remember me turning up in August 2012 when I knocked on his door with a box of wine, and he said he was going to take a punt on me. I think there was words to that effect. And on the basis that I'd turn up in Edinburgh again. I mean, I'd only been to Scotland half a dozen times by then, but I came up in August and I came back again in October, I think it was, and I presented the wines at your tasting, and we've been back every year since, which is fantastic. So you guys
we expect you there this November because it's booked.
Oh, okay, well, I look forward to it very much so. That'd be like almost an anniversary in itself. So, yeah, so we've anyway. Obviously, we're really good partnership with you guys up in Edinburgh, and one of our main wineries is Bodega Los Geraldos, and they have this amazing wine called Chacabuco. And it's called Chacabuco because the winery began in 1939 when Lolo started selling wine that his father had bottled from the front of his bike. So if you've got a bottle in front of you, you can have a look at the bottle. You can see there's a bike on there. Well, that very specific bike, Lolo used to cycle around a place called Chacabuco, which is a small town about 2 hours outside of Buenos Aires, the capital. And he'd go door to door, knocking on the doors, saying, "Would you like to buy my wine?" And he literally used to hold the bottles in the front of his bike. And I've got a really good picture with Lolo. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years ago, but he was 91. So he'd had a good life and had spent most of it in the winery. And I've got a picture of me and him next to the original bike. And behind that bike is a three-wheeler bike. And the three-wheeler is what he progressed to because he couldn't get enough wine on a two-wheeler. So he bought a three-wheeler so he could have a bigger box on the front. And but he did pretty well. He pedaled his way to a fair amount of success. And they bought a van, and then they had to move the family to Mendoza. Up until that point, they used to bottle the wines in Chacabuco that were supplied in big barrels. And they established a vineyard. And Bodega Los Geraldos was actually founded in the 90s because Jorge Velasco, who is now the chairman and president, lost his brother, the elder brother, to a car accident, who was also called Araudo. Lolo, his proper name was Araudo. So in memory of his father and his brother, who had passed away, he created a winery called Los Araudos, the Araudos, like two. And Chacabuco is the sort of main sort of brand that they have in Argentina and in export markets, because it obviously also celebrates the origins of when Lolo was selling wine from his bike. So most of you have had Malbec by now. I don't do many tastings these days where people haven't tried Malbec before. but the origins are from France, and it was actually a Frenchman, Michel Pouget, who brought Malbec to Argentina on the 17th of April, 1853. So actually a week ago, we were celebrating Malbec Day. And pretty much today, the Malbec is synonymous with Argentina. And the main reason is altitude. They plant at very high altitudes. It's a continental climate. So they are situated at the foot of the Andes Mountains. There's no ocean or anything else to provide a cooling influence. And they plant at very high altitudes to allow the vines to survive in what would otherwise be a very dry, arid environment. So they get the cool nights, and that allows the vines to rest and recuperate. And that success with Malbec has come from that, really. It's the altitude, the sun, the warmth, all the things that they have not had in France with this variety that make it quite an austere, very tannic variety from France. But in Argentina, the tannins are very integrated, quite rounded, sweet tannins. And you'll find in your glass, reach over for my glass, and you'll find in your glass an abundance of plums, a touch of spice, some violets. And although this isn't, we sell this wine as an unoaked wine, the winery will use around 5 to 10% of oak just to help round the wine and make it more appealing on the palate. So that's the Chacabuco Malbec. Hopefully that's been coherent enough for you.
Perfect, thank you, especially after being on the sauce since 3:30. I'm very impressed.
Well,
Richard, can you remind me of the price? Sorry, I've forgotten.
It is £6.81 ex-VAT.
681 ex-VAT, guys.
So where does that end up on the price list for you guys in the on-trade? Where does it end up?
You could list that for, what, 26 quid? No, I'm useless. I've forgotten.
20 to 25, I would go.
20 to 25.
About 25, I think.
And I'm noting we got Audrey. Is that Bijou Bistro from Bijou Bistro?
Yes, that's correct.
We did a very good tasting with John, actually, in your restaurant maybe 3 or 4 years ago with the Los Arados wines. Really good night.
Might even have been longer ago than that, Lee, I'm afraid.
Really? Oh, God.
3 years if you don't count last year, because last year's not worth counting, of course.
Yeah, of course. We've got lost track of some time.
I probably wasn't really there then. I've been there since just 3 years gone, so
must have just missed it.
Yeah, we had Nadia with us, so it was a bit crazy.
It's worth noting before we let Lee go back to his guests that he is around and really fantastic at hosting. So if you want, we do a huge amount of wines from Condor. So if you wanted to host any kind of dinner or whatever, please just let us know. It's certainly something we can help you with.
Yeah, it can certainly help. I mean, we get eventually we'll have international travel and the guys will come over again, but we're more than happy to come up and do tastings when they're not here anyway. And yeah, I mean, we're desperate to get over there, and they're desperate to get over here. So very strange.
Simon's due a trip, aren't you?
Well, as Simon will know, we have tried to do a trip. We do need to pick it back up. We're very lucky to have Richard with us a few years ago, and yeah, we do need to do it again.
It was a great trip.
Travel this amazing place that is behind me. So, but
can I just say, sorry, Lee, the trip started in Heathrow, and we're sitting in the bar in Heathrow waiting for Lee to rock up, and Lee walks in. And the Uber driver had shut the tailgate of the estate on his head.
Yeah, still
it had gashed his head across here. He came, there was blood pouring down the side of his head before the flight. So this massive gash across his head. And then he started going a bit strange on the flight and kind of passed out. And I thought, oh shit, we're going to have to divert here. This is a bit of a nightmare. He was like going with no wine, and I thought that's head injury. He's bleeding internally now. That's it over. You know, it's like that's the worst thing. I thought that's the end of the trip. We're gonna have to bloody give this up now. All this bloody planning off to bloody Argentina and Chile.
The
bloody host has gone and hemorrhaged himself.
I still managed to dash across in Madrid, I still managed to dash. We had like a very short connection. I still managed to dash across, even with a head gash, and I remember landing in Chile the next day, and I was really sick with concussion, and I spoke. I think your wife is your wife a nurse or something, Richard?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think when we got to Heathrow, I'd had 3 or 4 pints in the bar. I then took a sleeping pill.
Great idea with a massive gash on your head.
And then when I woke up in Chile, we started heading off to go for a tasting, and I spoke to an actual medical person, and they said, honestly, you're lucky to be here. That literally blood, sweat, and tears for the sake of wine. So.
Yeah, his concussion though, we had to stop the bus on the way from the airport in Chile for him to vomit around the side of the bus. This is not from drinks, just from concussion. I thought, this isn't going well. This is cursed.
And we lost our luggage as well for about 2 or 3 days.
Oh no!
Which is why I only took hand luggage, you see.
So much to look forward to.
I wasn't going to say, but Richard was the best prepared for this taste, for 9 nights it was travel. And Richard managed to do it with hand luggage, and he was best really, because we didn't have any luggage for 2 or 3 nights. So.
Right, I'm going to let you go so you can get back to.
If you want to go, if you go to South America, let us know. We'll look after you. Anyway.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck
Thank
with the
you.
reopening. Good luck with
We
the
can't
reopening.
wait to be doing proper trade stuff with you again. Happy barbecuing.
Okay.
Thanks, Lee.
Ciao.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Yeah, no, that's just,
Okay, any questions, guys? Did you find this useful, helpful?
Yeah, definitely. All the wines they're all great. They really
That was great. Thank you so much.
Right, Richard said we picked the wines quickly, and we did. However, these are all wines that we love and we know that offer unbelievable value for money.
Definitely.
I can see the Salazar, between Prosecco and Champagne one working in Viseu, because I think whoever said it is correct, that we're almost beyond Prosecco. So I think this is I think I can see that going down well.
You know that.
I think there was a time with Fizz where unless it was Prosecco or Champagne, nothing else kind of got a look in. Whereas now people, they kind of want to look like they know what they're talking about as well. So it's kind of that kind of, I don't drink Prosecco, but I have the next. I
know a bit more, and
So
people know the name Cremon now, I think.
Totally.
Yeah, but that stuff had a lot more going for it. I liked it. It had a lot of depth. So I don't normally like fizzy wine at all, but I did like that. Yeah.
I mean that.
So thank you.
That's more of a.
What were you thinking, Amanda?
No, I was just agreeing with Audrey that the Cremant, we've been selling that as our sort of house pour, and as you said, between Prosecco and Champagne. But if you wanted to do that, it is such an easy sell. It really is. Like, people don't even think about it anymore. They just say yes. You say, oh, it's, even people that have got no knowledge about wine at all.
Yeah.
You look, oh, it's a step between. And it's, especially for the value for money, fantastic. It's such an easy sell. It really is.
Just use that as a pour, or do you do any cocktails using Cremant?
Not listed, but I've been known to come up with them on the fly if I have to. It's pretty much my entire cocktail list. If anyone wants a cocktail, it's something that I make up in about 4 seconds with what I have on the bar. So
I bet they're the best ones as well, though.
Oh, obviously, yeah. Probably just because the people that have ordered them have had far too much wine to begin with. But...
We really enjoyed the Pe Branco. We thought that was really interesting, but still accessible. It wasn't like completely, it had that honeysuckle kind of orange blossom thing without being just like holy moly, what's going on? And like you say, at a price point that isn't going to, it's not, no one can be disappointed, if they have it and they go, I've spent a load of money on this and it's just not to my taste.
One of the advantages of it, though, is that it will not displace your varietal drinker. So your Sauvignon drinker, your Chardonnay drinker, your Chenin drinker, your whatever kind of drinker you have on your list, your varietal drinker will not be displaced by that. You know, they will take that as a different. So you could have that as a house, as opposed to, you know, some people put a Sauvignon as a house, which I think is
Terrible
not
idea.
necessarily the best idea, because you're losing your Sauvignon sales further up. Was that doesn't displace anything. It doesn't. You see what I mean?
Yeah. And those, it's a little bit dry, but it's fruity. You know, it's really hard to find someone that doesn't like it. There's nothing bad about it. You know, it's really drinkable.
Jonathan, can I just ask, your partner's got a T-shirt. Is that T-shirt in honor of getting over lockdown? Jonathan,
oh.
You've muted yourself.
Sorry, what was that? Sorry, I'd assumed.
Your partner, the person you're drinking with, she's got a T-shirt on with a slogan on it. Is that slogan in honor of the end of lockdown?
Yeah, I think that sums up my movement really. It says keep calm and get over it. I think it is, yeah, that sums up our moods a little bit. You know, we've had a good day today. We've all got ready and the place looks really good. So
how are you all feeling about being open again, like properly?
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. And equally a bit terrified of people, but no, it's going to be a weird thing, but
it's nice to get back to normality.
Yeah. Indeed. Well, yeah, it's not. It
Well,
definitely
kind of
isn't normality, but yeah, it's one step closer, I think.
Instead of sitting watching the telly, getting
this lockdown, I think, has been a lot harder.
Yeah, definitely.
For so many reasons, you know, personally, but also business as well. It's kind of when that first one was kind of, oh, we'll get through it, and this one, I think the weather hasn't helped. It's been sort of such short hours and things like this. I found it really tough. The sun has definitely helped. That's why we're outside. And if we're
getting all you can.
Exactly. Well, I kind of thought if we're expecting guests to be out here, we might as well go through it ourselves for an hour or so and realise what they're going through.
Absolutely.
So, you've got a pretty reasonable outside space then, Jonathan.
Yeah, so we're all set up. It's, I can kind of show you.
You've done loads of it on your outside space, haven't you?
Yeah, so we've got some nice tables up on the top, and then we come down. These were the tables we already had.
For those of you who don't know 24 Royal Terrace, it is such a lovely place to go for a drink. Like, I'd highly recommend it. Like, it's such a cool spot.
Very excited about it.
Yeah, so we've been inundated with bookings this week, which has been quite like, you know, we've always had that kind of quiet sort of hidden gem kind of thing, and now it's suddenly we're kind of rushed off our feet. We're not used to it because we do everything kind of the old-fashioned way with emails and stuff like that. So we've been
I saw an article in the Evening News calling you Edinburgh's hidden gem, so I think that
that's great.
Yeah, that was last week.
Might be something to do with it. Yeah. There we go.
What about you, Amanda? Have you had quite a lot of bookings? Are you feeling?
We are holding off though. We're not opening till mid-May because we've got no outside space at all. So there's no point us being open.
And nearly all the restaurants, like the indoor restaurants, we know are doing exactly the same. It's just it's pointless.
So we're mid-May. So yeah, my restaurant is still boxes and chairs piled everywhere.
But the takeaway is still doing okay for you.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely died down the last few weeks. I think people are really anticipating being able to go out again. And I think different to last time when, you know, you couldn't drink in restaurants, you had to be gone by 6. Whereas at least now you can still stay out until, you know, 6:30, 7, 8 o'clock. So and with that bit of sunshine, those places that do have outdoor areas, it's, you know, of course people are going to be going to them. I am. I've already got a few bookings. So
yeah.
But no, we're still.
Come here.
No, we're still waiting till mid-May. But yeah, more weeks.
What about you, Martin?
No, we'll be open 17th of May.
Looking forward to it. Feeling a bit odd.
Yeah, no, I'm the opposite. I think the first lot of lockdown was harder for me. This one, I'm now used to lockdown and used to doing what we're doing. But we're ready to go, really. Whiskey bar and whiskey rooms. So bring on the 17th of May.
Bring it on.
We cannot wait.
Try and enjoy the outside eating whilst I can. Until.
Yeah.
Martin, sorry, can I ask where are you from?
I'm in the country or
No,
which
sorry,
restaurant?
you mentioned whiskey rooms and that.
Yeah, I'm whiskey rooms and whiskey bar at the moment.
Yeah, we are.
Nice one. No, the whiskey rooms.
Oh,
Are you
right, the
fin-
whiskey rooms. Right, okay.
So not heavy on the wine, obviously, but the
club.
the Malbec, the Czech Malbec is definitely one we sell.
Yeah.
It's nice to have it back.
Yeah, I'm a whiskey man myself, so. But
I barely
I'm
touch the
quite
stuff.
interested in this, the Poblanco. I think that's quite an unusual wine. It's got an unusual taste.
Glad you like it. Rowan, how's the outsider looking? You're opening Monday, aren't you?
Bro. Say round, you're opening on Monday, aren't you?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute it. Yeah,
Yeah,
back on Monday.
You're the outsider. Are you the new manager up there?
No, I've been manager since
Or newish,
like
newest?
a year. Then?
Yeah,
Newest. Yeah,
the
newest
newest
edition.
manager.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back to it and start working
Yeah.
again. Definitely.
Good.
If you had to reduce your number of tables quite drastically,
I think we did take a few out, but
you're
it's supposed to be 1 meter, but
On the cusp.
I don't think it's quite a meter.
I think everyone's in that boat as well. There's 1 meter and then there's 1 meter.
Exactly.
I'm so glad to hear other people in confidence saying things like that. No, we're not breaking any rules, but it's like
You have to be realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The way that I see it, you can go into Tesco and have somebody standing right next to you. So
Exactly.
yeah, at least we're doing far better than a lot of places like that. And we definitely had to
Some of
make
the
the
rules are a wee
most
bit too tough.
adjustments. But
Yeah, that's so true with the supermarkets. Like you have people all over you and restaurants are so careful. It's really frustrating.
definitely.
Well, it's going to be great to have you guys back. We've
Missed you
horribly. We've had to sell wine to actual real people.
Yeah. I'm sure you haven't missed
But Simon's referring to
Free
the
cameras.
real people that we were selling wine to. That were you.
They only buy 12 bottles at a time. It's ridiculous.
a lot of work.
All that work.
A lot of work.
No, they've been fantastic. We couldn't have done it without them, to be fair. So we've been pretty busy, I suppose.
Lucky.
Yeah, busy fools. Lucky busy fools.
But it's nearly 7. So do you have any questions about the wines before we head off, or any questions for us? I'll let you go enjoy your Saturday night.
Just quickly before you go, the silent one in the middle there, Angus, he's our new member.
Give us a wave, Angus.
Take a good look at him. If he pops into your restaurant to say hi, he's not dodgy or anything. He is actually genuine in their own business. So.
Hi,
He's
Angus.
also, he's been to wine college, so he actually knows what a vineyard properly looks like.
He really does.
How to pick a grape. He does washing as well. So,
It's always the quiet ones. They really know what they're talking about.
Angus, you should have been in New Zealand working on a winery right now, or South Africa, or somewhere really cool. But you're in Leith in a shed.
Stuck with us, poor sod.
Poor sod.
Scotland is the New Zealand of the Northern Hemisphere, so
without the wine.
Without the wine. Yeah.
Or the ability to go anywhere as they have right now.
Yeah. It's been pretty good. I'm happy.
I don't know, just for you, before you open up on the 17th of May, like we do a Facebook tasting every Friday. I'm doing it next week, and then I think it's John, and then like all we do is like, you can buy the wines, all three, or just one, and just tune in if you want to learn a bit about the wine. We just kind of blether on for a bit. I don't know, are we going to carry that on, Richard? We haven't decided.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Um,
Who knows what's going to happen?
You can pop in and pick the wines up at trade prices, obviously, even just one of them if you fancy it. Anything else you want to add, Richard, before we let them go and have their dinner?
I'm just wondering whether mullets are going to come from New Zealand.
Well, you've got one in the house already.
My son is working in the shop at the moment, and he's just got himself a mullet. He hasn't had a haircut in 15 months and got the front end taken back. I've got no hair, obviously, but and left his back bit as a mullet. So that is New Zealand cutting edge. So there you go. So New Zealand comes to Edinburgh.
In all sorts of ways.
Richard, I'm still not getting a mullet.
Yeah, there's.
I can't see you in a mullet, Angus.
I think mullets are going to come back. I think they are going to come
Apparently
back.
so.
Obviously, but not for us old oldies. Just
mine's longer on the
publicly
back. already.
challenged old men. Thank you very much for coming along, guys. That was it. And best of luck for the next few weeks. And I do hope it takes off. I think it will. I think it will. People are gagging on going out. Absolutely gagging on going out.
I
Be
think
included.
yeah, Bijou's nearly fully booked already, so we'll be fine. I think it'll be great. Thank you very much, guys. It was very interesting and very informative. And thanks for the wine. Cheers.
Pleasure. Listen, if you need
Pleasure.
any help, any training,
Just ask.
any wine ideas, just always give us a phone or drop us an email at the warehouse. We're always around and very happy to help.
Right,
And
thanks
can't wait
very much.
to
Good night,
start
everybody.
doing business with you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Guys.
See you all as well.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tra.
Still a vista.
See you out there. Oh,
Good.
and then there were 4.
All good?
Thanks, Richard.
All good. See you later. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank
See
you very
Monday.
much.
Thanks,
Bye.
Ange.